you have to do things out of your norm. You have to learn to love to be uncomfortable. You need to be in situations that don't make you comfortable, because if you're comfortable, you're content, you're never gonna grow.
Welcome to Athlete Country Club, the podcast built for parents, athletes, and competitors chasing the next level. I'm your host, Marcus McMarion, former Division I quarterback, now founder of Athlete Country Club. I started this show because, like many of you, I had to learn the recruiting process the hard way, traveling up and down the state, spending thousands trying to figure out what actually works. Each week, we break it down through two powerful segments. First, Coach Talk. This is where we sit down with college coaches, director of player personnel, recruiters to uncover exactly what they look for when offering scholarships. No fluff, just the truth from people making the decisions. Second, Athlete CEO. Here we go beyond the field, into habits, training, and mindset that build elite performance and long-term success. You'll hear from strength coaches, nutritionists, sports psychologists, and former athletes who've turned their grind into greatness in business, leadership, and life. Because being an athlete isn't just about playing the game, it's about mastering it and building your legacy beyond it. So whether you're a parent trying to navigate recruiting or an athlete ready to level up, you're in the right place. Welcome to Athlete Country Club, where we turn potential into performance and performance into purpose. What's good, everybody? Welcome to Athlete Country Club. I'm your host, Marcus McMarion. Today, we're sitting down with the legend in the sport, Mr. Olympia, men's physique champion, two-time Arnold Classic champion, and one of the most dominant physiques on the planet. E. Banks, welcome to Athlete Country Club, brother.
Man, I appreciate you having me, man. How you feeling?
I'm good, bro. I'm excited to get this doing, man. You've been traveling all over the place, touching Dubai. I'm trying to get connected. We're trying to get this down. And I'm like, man, this guy's a world traveler, man. What's up with them?
Man, hey, it's been a long 2025, and you know, we had to bring the 2026 into Dubai, you know. So it's been a blessing in disguise, you know, at the same time, because as I'm traveling, like you said, Dubai, I've just got back from China. Just networking with these people, man, around the globe is incredible. And then just not only that, but just to see what the world has to offer, man, it's a beautiful sight. And I've just been telling all my friends and family, man, y'all got to get out. Y'all got to get out and travel, because it is so much to this world that we just don't even know. And I'm barely scratching the surface by just traveling for 5 days, 6 days, whatever it is. But man, to just see what I've been seeing in the world it's a beautiful thing, man. And we get a lot of the propaganda over here in America to what we expect, but it's nothing like it. It's nothing like it.
Yeah, no, and honestly, I mean, me and my family, me and my wife, we just went in July. We went out to London and kind of saw Europe, and then did a little bit of Italy. And kind of like you said, I mean, it's just like a whole, like, just kind of makes you step back for a minute. You're like, man, like America, obviously the biggest thing for me, I didn't realize is like, basically I saw a stat ever since I got back. I'm sure you start getting all the Dubai and China stuff on your feed now on social media when you get back. But I was getting a bunch of London and a bunch of Italy stuff. And I was like, man, the UK literally fits inside Alabama. And the people were like, couldn't believe it. I'm like always talking to the taxi drivers and stuff like that, asking them where they're from, how they live. And he was like, oh, you probably know one of my friends, he's from New Jersey. And I'm like, nah, bro, I live in California. I live way on the other side, you know. And it's like, they just think like everything's a couple hour drive out there, you know. So like it changes your mind on a lot of things going out there and traveling.
Yeah, and that's the thing is they say the Western. They say you live on the West, you know, and they think it's just as small as what you're describing. And it's America is huge. Like, it is absolutely huge to some of these other countries and that you travel to. But even to think about that, a lot of people in Dubai think Dubai is a country. Dubai is not a country. It's a state. And, you know, they got totally different states, but even the UAE, it's pretty big, but it's not comparable to what we live in, you know. But Dubai is if you have not been to Dubai, it is a recommendation, bro. From the cultural to, just think of it as, you know how we go to, like, when we turn 21, we want to go to Las Vegas, right? Like, put that times 100, like from clubs to like entertainment to food, restaurants, like just, I mean, even family stuff. And it's literally one of the safest safest place to be and to raise kids, free health care. I mean, everything is just magnified over there. It's crazy. It's insane. It's
Yeah, no,
insane.
that actually, that's like you talking about that. I didn't know it was going to go this direction. That kind of leads me into exactly what I wanted to talk about. One of my favorite quotes is I heard it somewhere. I forget, it was a podcast, I heard it somewhere, but it's, we only dream at the size of our exposure because what we're exposed to are the only things we think are reachable. So obviously, like you're
Yep.
being from Fresno, growing up in Fresno, Clovis area, like you're giving, I mean, the youth a level of exposure and thinking things are possible that you probably, maybe you think about it, maybe you don't, but it's like your influence on just the entire valley that they could see a Mr. Olympia, like, hey, you've been where I've been, you've grown up where I've gone, you played on the courts, you worked out in the gym that I worked out in, and they're thinking it's
Yep.
possible. But I mean, for you, like, what or who were you exposed to that kind of shaped your belief in what was possible?
I would probably say once I got out of college, came back to Fresno and started working. But I was always one of those people who wanted more, wanted bigger. I always, because I was popular in high school, but I wanted more than that, So I wanted to chase more. So when I got into being a fashion stylist, I partnered up with my buddy Marcus Anthony. He's a music artist out in Fresno as well. So started going to LA every weekend and connecting with some of the people out there, and literally that's where it all started, from me wanting to see more and me wanting to do more. So I had a mentor as I was being a fashion stylist, and his name is EJ King. He actually was working with Chris Brown at the time, so having to be able to meet him, go to Chris Brown's, like, what was it, his Heartbreak on a Full Moon debut album, which was a Halloween thing. And so seeing that, being around these high celebrity artists, and just meeting some of the people. I mean, I've met Tank, I've met so many different people. So at that time, just wanting to do that and traveling back and forth to LA, I'm like, man, I know I can do more. I'm already involved in it. So let's see where it takes me. So ended up squashing that, and then stop the whole fashion stylist thing, because again, the time, the money, being away from and I just started having kids. So I had my daughter, then I started having my son about 2 years after my daughter. And then the bodybuilding thing came about, and the traveling just started. It just my success has started super quick. Traveling across the world, New York, Tampa, just going all over the place. And then from there, it's, again, my career just kept accelerating, and I just kept getting these different opportunities to just get out and travel. And man, for the kids in Fresno, man, and in Clovis at that, is just, you have to dream big. You can't, and we get this small town mentality a lot in our heads, even from Dinuba to Parlier to Sanger to all these little hubs, man. And we have so much talent in our area, in the valley alone. Like, we have actors, we have models, we have NFL, we got NBA, MLB, soccer athletes. We have so many artists. We have so many good things going on in Fresno, man, that some of these kids may not think we have, but we have a lot of talent and celebrities that are born and raised in Fresno, or even just come to Fresno State and expand out, So I just think, man, if you got a dream, you got to chase it, and don't let anything block your blessing. Because again, I could have blocked everything that came my way, because I never wanted to be a bodybuilder in the beginning. I wanted to go the fashion stylist route and do everything that way, as far as being in that type of industry. But God had a different shift. He said, let's go this way, and having kids, and it gave me the opportunity to just be at home and be a present father, and everything just started blossoming from there.
Yeah, no, and I feel like that's such a huge thing that people kind of misunderstand or don't fully put their attention on. It's just like not being able to block your own blessings, like you said, like not getting in your own way. I mean, I feel like even for me, I was just talking with one of my buddies on a phone call the other day, and we were just talking about, he's like, statistically, you at Danuba is like the last person. I graduated in 2014 in high school. The last person to go Division 1 at Danuba High School was in 1973, a guy named Rob Adolph, to where it's like, okay, you're talking 30, 40 years of athletes who went through Danuba and not a single one signed a Division 1 scholarship. And it's like, I don't really look back and think I was special or anything I did was like I was super talented or I was Superman or this or that. It's just like I kind of had like a tunnel vision on what I wanted to do and knew what I wanted to do. And I know that's something I always try to share with young athletes when I'm kind of talking with them, is just like every dream, like everything starts with a dream, but like dreams don't become reality just because we have them. Like they become reality because we like structure them. You know, it's like I always kind of tell people, it's like you get aligned with it. You know, you create like that vision in your head, you see the goal clearly, and then you kind of get assigned with it. You assign, like you break it down. What am I actually going to do to make this happen? And I think the final step that people forget, it's like you align, you assign, and then you decide. It's like the moment you cut everything off, like, hey, there's no other options. Like you kind of burn the boats, you know? And I think you have the perfect story for that, because it's like your story's so unconventional. It's like people dedicate their entire lives to get into bodybuilding, and you started really late in your career. It's like you shouldn't have had any success as far as
Zero.
yeah. So kind of talk about that. Like how did your career just launch, and it was so just unprecedented, the amount of success that came so quick?
Man, and to be honest, like I said from the beginning, I never wanted to do this. And I became a personal trainer after the fashion stylist gig, you know, I was just in GB3, just training clients. And one day I just took my shirt off in the mirror and was looking at my body and kind of doing push-ups and stuff in this little fitness room. And a lady came up to me and was like, do you bodybuild? I'm like, no, that ain't my thing. She was like, no, like you have a really nice physique. I think you should try it out. And first thing I'm like, I'm not getting on stage in chonies. Like I just couldn't do it, you know? So she was like, no, fool, you can get on stage with shorts. And I'm like, I still don't, it's just not my gig. It's not what I want to do. So she literally begged me for a full year until COVID happened. I'm like, you know what, let me give it a try. Since I ain't doing nothing, I could just go to the gym, because I had access to a private gym, and started literally building my physique and got a coach. Literally, I did 3 shows in a matter of 3 months and ended up becoming a pro. So the success was super fast. And again, I didn't, when I tell you I didn't know nothing about bodybuilding, absolutely nothing. So I had to learn and pick up everything on the fly. So became pro. Literally my rookie year, everything just catapulted so fast, and it I don't even know how fast. I mean, it made no sense to me, because I didn't know they were looking for a physique like mine. And then to come to find out, they're like, oh, this is what we've been wanting to see for a long time, and X, Y, and Z, especially in the men's physique division. So from my rookie year, I literally placed second, third, won my first New York Pro, which a rookie has never done, and then went to my first Mr. Olympia and placed second, which a rookie has never done that. Just came on the scene and just boom, second place at his first Mr. Olympia. And then literally my that following year, going into my first Arnold Classic, I won my first Arnold Classic literally within 18 months of me being a pro. So everything just from there, just like, okay, boom, it took off. And I was already projected to win the Mr. Olympia that same year. So I did a show right after the Arnold. I won that one as well. It was at the Boston Pro. And then literally, man, the Mr. Olympia came up and boom, shocked the world. So it happened so fast. And, you know, I don't even think I never had the time to slow down and process everything, because I was just so focused. And like you say, that tunnel vision, you just work so hard and don't let anything come in the way with success, especially after you wanting to do this, after being begged to do it. So I'm like, well, if these people are thinking I'm good, or my physique is at this point, okay, let's take it to another level. So like I said, winning that Mr. Olympia my second year was literally one of the highlights of my career. And then just on and on. I mean, I went to, after the Mr. Olympia, then I won my second Arnold Classic, back to back. So then I, placed third. No, I placed, what did I place? I placed third in 23, third in 24, and then fourth in this past of Mr. Olympia. But in the meantime, I sprinkled in every big show that was possible. So the Dubai Pro, that was the first time I went to Dubai. I ended up winning that show. The Pittsburgh Pro, which is probably the third biggest show in the world, won that show last year. So my physique does the talking for sure. And again, I've been super successful. And again, it's only been, this is going on my 6th year, and people think I'm old in the game because of my success has been so fast, but I'm still a baby in the game, because every guy that's a veteran right now, they've been in this industry for probably 12 to 13 years plus, and this is going on my 6th.
Yeah.
So
And I feel like there's somewhat of a blessing too to almost being naive to the situation. Like you having that much success, I feel like you have to be a little disillusional in a sense, to where it's like you're not thinking about it in the moment. You're like, hey, there's work that's got to get done. I'm going to do the work. And you're just kind of putting your head down and you're just going and flowing and doing everything. And I think we were talking a little bit off camera, and it was kind of cool to see that a lot of people don't realize that you were a high profile athlete in high school. It's in well respected. I know we have that mutual friend in Robert Golden, who's played in the NFL, Pittsburgh Steelers captain, played with Troy Polamalu and all those guys. And he's someone that, speaks very highly of you. And just kind of talk about what traits carried from team sports into bodybuilding.
Well, again, shout out to Rob Golden. That's my guy. But literally all of it, the discipline, the consistency, the having to wake up at 6 a.m. to go to zero period. Like, we got to wake up. Well, now I wake up probably about 5 a.m., do fasted cardio, take a break, eat my first meal. So everything was just a timely matter. Because back when I was playing at Clovis East, literally our coach Tim Murphy was just one of those coaches that it had to be, everything was literally on time and consistent. And that's what literally I just drug over from playing football and running track and field and playing basketball. It was all routine, and everything was hard work. If you didn't put in the work, you never got the results. And I seen a lot of athletes go down a rabbit hole because they thought their talent would take them to the next level, but they didn't put the work in to let the talent just explode. So, I've learned to literally put the work in. And I know after I found out my physique was a physique that they wanted to go to see and be in this industry, I just took it to another level, and everything just exploded from there. And I put the work in, so you gotta have consistency, discipline, dedication. It all comes from being that athlete. And when it comes from being a team sport, even though it's still an individual sport, as a bodybuilder, I still have a coach. I still have opposing coach. So it's still a team aspect in a sense, because if you're not listening to your coach or you're not being coachable, your physique's not going to perform on that day where you need to get on that stage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, that's a fact. And then, just kind of talk about a little bit of the confidence. So, like, a little quick pretext for it. So, like, the closest I've ever gotten to bodybuilding, I play in the East-West Shrine game they invite all the top seniors. They have the Reese's Bowl. It's kind of the big one. Then you have the East-West Shrine games, like kind of the next big one. And I went to that one, and you're having tons of meetings, right? I was meeting with the Jaguars. You're taking tests. They're asking you questions. You're doing all this stuff. And then there is a little section of it on one of the days where you literally they just have you literally strip. You just go up in your girdle, you stand on stage. All the scouts are like this. They're just sitting back looking at you, and they're just making little notes. I'm like, bro, this is crazy. They're literally, this is bodybuilding, bro. They're like, all right, you got small chest, you got bird, or whatever they're writing on there, So they're literally breaking it down. So kind of talk about that. And it was a weird feeling, going on there. Like, for you, how do you mentally prepare for entering a sport where you're literally being judged?
To be honest, man, I think it was a calling for me regardless, because you threw out that word confident, man, I was probably the most confident person ever growing up. I was always, as I would say, until I was probably 14, 15, probably about 14, no, I would say 15, 16. I was always the smallest kid. I was like, you wouldn't think it, but I was always just on the smaller side. So, man, I grew up, basketball was my first sport that I fell in love with. I wanted to be AI, right? But that's why I learned that confident in being 100% into yourself, and not a cocky way. A lot of people do get me misconstrued with cocky or whatever the case may be, but until you've met me or talked to me, you'd understand the mindset. Because again, I come from the West Side. I've seen some things, and you grow and you mold yourself together, and you become this person. And I just always had 100% confidence in myself. Just because I solely believe if I can bring that to the table, nothing can stop me. You know what I mean? So I've always been told no one was better than you. That's one thing my pops always instilled. You're like, bro, they not better than you. No one is better than you. Just keep working, and as that went on, that just built more and more. But getting into the realm of bodybuilding, for me, it's just like a showcase, and I've always liked Friday Night Lights. Friday Night Lights. Here we go. We got the whole stadium here to watch us play. And that also helped me transfer over to bodybuilding, because if I didn't have that exposure into, and I would say more of a bigger school, because we in the Clovis West, the Buchanans, we were bigger high schools. So we had bigger crowds and stuff like that, in bigger stadiums. So I think that helped me as far as going into a room full of 5,000 people just looking at me on stage and presenting my physique. I never had any like stage fright or anything like that. I just know, again, back to being confident, if I put the work in, I eat my food, I train, I wake up and do my fasted cardio, why wouldn't I want to show my physique? Why wouldn't I want to show what I just worked for? So that's where I think all the confidence has come from. It's just how I was raised, and playing the football and getting the exposure to the crowds and the fashion stylists, being around high celebrity people. And, I just never let myself or held myself to a low standard. I've always wanted to be above the bar.
Yeah, no, and I feel like all the guys I know that have accomplished any kind of success, especially high level elite success where you're in rare air, I mean, they've always had an elite confidence about themselves, but more so in themselves. And like you said, I think it's easy to kind of get it misconstrued with like, oh, this person's arrogant. It's just like, no, I actually just heard a quote, and it's the best quote I've heard that I want to instill in my kids, because I was always raised like, hey, be humble, don't talk about yourself. Like, and I always carried that. But I kind of wish a little bit now, like, I'm going to teach that to my kids, but I kind of want them to have a little bit of a, I'm going to step on your neck kind of mentality too, So like once they start actually playing.
Yeah, but that was how I grew up, man. And I hate when people say the word just be humble. Like I get where it comes from, where it stems from, but at the end of the day, like, being humble will get you walked over. I don't ever want to be walked over. You know what I mean? So I'm always hold myself to a higher standard. I'm not sitting up here blatantly being cocky or arrogant. No, I'm still respectful, but when it comes to me, I'm a highly speak about myself. You're not gonna never hear me dummy myself down, ever.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and that's the
So
perfect way to say it too. I mean, I saw the quote. I just heard it on the podcast. The guy was saying, be humble in character, but not in your sport. And I was like, whoa, I said, that's what I'm gonna plaster and tell my kids.
that's big.
Someone walks in, yes sir, no sir, open the door, please and thank you. But I said, hey,
Absolutely.
guess what? Like after when you step inside that court, you step inside the lines, like it's game time, bro. We're like, that's what I want to really instill in my kids. But guess what? After you knock someone down, stick your hand out, pick them up. Nice play, bro. I'll see you next play. We're about to do it again. So it's like have that
Right.
mentality of like being able to have that
You gotta have
confidence
that.
in yourself to where I think it's such a fine line in confidence, but I think to your point, it comes from the work and the preparation, and you don't have confidence. I think it's arrogance when you're not putting in the time and you're not putting in the effort, you're not putting in the preparation. That's when you're arrogant, dude. You haven't earned to do that. But if you've earned it and you know you've done everything,
Right.
hey, be you.
And that's the thing is, I'm a speaker into existence, you know. And coming into this industry, I was that guy who said I'm going to win the Mr. Olympia, I'm going to win this show, I'm going to do this. And you know, like you said, if it was arrogant, I wouldn't be working hard. I'll just be talking, but I was working my butt off to be the best in the world, and everything that I said I was going to do, I've done it, you know. And this industry, I would say a lot of these industries are very different, but our industry is real different when it comes to people believing in themselves and stuff like that. Because you got to understand, in our industry, I'm probably a 1% of the athletes who merge over to bodybuilding. Bodybuilding was based off of insecure people, or people who are overweight, or people who are too skinny, or people getting picked on that got into bodybuilding and want to become something relevant. You see what I'm saying? But when you get someone who comes from being a 3-sport athlete, who's confident in himself, who's already it's already popular in a sense. I mean, now I'm magnified based off of winning, and me merging into their sport is kind of like, you know, a little bit different. That's just like Chad Ochocinco coming into bodybuilding. How you think they're gonna feel then?
Yeah.
with the way he talk or whatever the case may be. But I don't even consider Chad Ochocinco arrogant, you know, or cocky. I think everything that I've seen Chad do, he puts the work in, from soccer to playing video games to playing all these different sports, and just believing in boxing and just believing in himself. He works hard for it, you know. And an average person with that lower mindset will think he's a cocky person.
Yeah. No, and I'm a firm believer in all the stuff you just talked about too, as far, especially on the sense of just the kind of what you think about, you bring about. Like, I started like nerding out on all that stuff where it's like, you have this part in your brain, it's the reticular activating system, and it's basically just a filtering system for your brain, to where it's like, hey, E. Banks or Marcus, I'm thinking about right now in this time of my life, how am I going to offset active income? And I'm thinking about investing. So now I go to the store, I'm going to Starbucks, I'm hearing people talking about investing that I probably wouldn't have heard earlier, but it's on my mind. So it's like you start picking up on little different things throughout your life, and it's like just having just that positive mindset. And I think that plays such a big deal in just having success. And I know we kind of talked about a little bit off camera before, just how you're starting to get ready. Like, you've kind of took your vacations and kind of enjoyed it, taking in, reflecting on 25, but now you're getting ready for 26. And for you, I mean, just like for people who aren't familiar with the bodybuilding space, I mean, like, how far out do you decide to enter a contest? Like, what's your timeline?
So I tell this to every athlete, especially if they've taken a longer off season or like a vacation. If you've taken a longer vacation, you might need 24 weeks to prepare for a show, to be really dialed all the way in. But for me, it'll probably be 18 weeks. We didn't get too far off course. But that's also the thing is when you're in the off season, you can't just go out and just eat whatever. You still kind of got to have the format to eating correctly. And that's where I think a lot of people get disconnected from the bodybuilding, because in America, we love to eat food. It's just our thing, and we don't have the best food in America. I'm just saying that now, you know. So all the processed stuff, I mean, we get addicted to, and if you're out here just eating whatever you want all the time, that physique's gonna take a toll. You know what I mean? So if you're still following a game plan, as far as eating your meals, I mean, I probably was at the time in my off season, I was probably eating about 5 meals. So having to eat every 3 hours, you know, that can be extremely hard for an average person to think about. Man, I got to eat 5 times a day. I got to drink a gallon and a half of water a day. Like, there's no way. You know what I mean? So it's again falls back into that discipline and being consistent with that. But yeah, it takes about 18 weeks. I got a couple shows planned here in May, and then probably late summer. But I'll already be ready because once I start, we don't stop. But we'll come to a point to where when the Mr. Olympia is in October, we'll probably have like a 2 week, 3 week like reset and kind of get the mental back, because again it's mentally draining when you're eating a little bit of food, you're drinking all this water, you want to splurge on, man, I want a hamburger, or man, I want this, but it's just, you gotta lock in. The mind will play tricks on you, man, and then the mirror starts to play tricks on you, then the scale starts to play tricks on you. So you gotta be really mentally locked in becoming a bodybuilder. It's not for everybody. If you really can kind of have the discipline in yourself to kind of want to push yourself to do it, try it. If you end up liking it, the process is the funnest thing for me, because there's a starting point and then there's the ending point. That's what I love. I love the result part about it. So if I can see myself like right now, and then I can see myself in 4 weeks, I'll be a totally different person. That's what I love about the transformation of it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And without going too far down a rabbit hole, because I know we both love America and we love where we live, but even prime example, I remember going to Japan in high school, and I remember I got a large soda, and they gave me this little thing that was like this, and I was like, I said a large, like big one. They're like, yeah, large, and I was like, oh, bro. And I'm like, bro, in America, this is a large.
Let me tell you a funny story about China. It is crazy. So for their women, like, there's a sheet of paper. Your stomach size has to be a sheet of paper. If you're a male and you're overweight, the government steps in. The government, not your city, not X1. The government steps in and starts. Bro, China was a mind boggle. Like, it really opened my eyes to like a lot of different things, from the technology to how they eat, just the small rules like that. They also bro, if they're tired from or stressed at work, they'll just tell their boss and they'll get the day off. Like, bro, what? You say that over here, you're fired. It's over. You're not getting a day off. You're not getting paid, and they're getting paid when they say this. It's different. It's really different over there.
Yeah, that was a culture shock for me too. When we went to Italy, we're out in Rome, and just they're like, oh yeah, and everything's closed in the afternoon, and we're like, okay, cool. Like, well, like from what time? They're like, it's hard to say, but everything's closed in the afternoon, because they literally will just take midday off, and people will go home, cook lunch, spend time with their families, and then come back. And I'm like, huh, like that's weird. And even just the kind of foods that you're eating, and obviously in your profession, that's a huge part of it, eating the cleanest food possible. I mean, I ate pizza and pasta out in Italy, and I felt like I was eating a chicken salad, bro. Like I was fine. Like, I eat pizza out here, I'm like, bro, I'm tapped, bro. I need to take a nap. I'm tired.
I did the same thing. One day I was like, because I went to Rome and I was in Italy too. But the thing is, I went to the Coliseum one day and I said, let me just try the food, because at that time I've already started prep, and I was texting my coach at the same time, so he kind of knew what was going on. And I said, bro, I think I'm gonna have a couple of cheat meals. And he said, go for it. Because we were far away from the show. It was kind of like right now where I'm starting to get back into it. And bro, when I tell you how much pasta I ate, how much bread I ate, how much ice cream I ate, and I lost 3 pounds, that should tell you about the food over here in America. Just that and that. Like, bro, I'm talking about like a bowl of pasta. This was probably the biggest pasta I've ever had. And I'm like, there's no way. It just don't make sense. It don't make sense.
Yeah, no, it's unreal. I mean, you kind of talked about like the timeline. A lot of times that's in kind of the beginning of your process, but like, have you ever, for you, I mean, I've always been kind of interested in obviously talking to someone who's kind of accomplished the cream of the top and everything that people are chasing in bodybuilding. I mean, like, have you ever like doubted yourself? Like, have you ever doubted your prep midway? And like, how do you course correct?
Doubt it? No, because the thing is, man, I have the best coach in the world, and he's taken athletes to the levels that's unimaginable. You know what I mean? And then when I first hired him, he had a lot of athletes, and I was actually his first athlete to win him a Mr. Olympia and a couple Arnolds. You know, so from there he grew as well. But as far as like doubting the prep, no. It just, as far as changing what food or how much food we're eating, yes, based on the look. Like, say if I'm at 8 weeks out and my body needs to pull a little bit more, that's where we just play with the diet. But doubting, no. I just put my all into the prep, and whatever the outcome is the outcome. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, we've come up a couple times short in the past years, but we've nailed a lot of preps. But as far as the doubting part, no. The thing is, if you have doubt, you're never gonna win. You won't win in this game.
Yeah, no, and talk about that. I know I'm sure you've kind of seen that clip of, I forget where, Snoop Dogg's talking somewhere, and he's like, first of all, I want to thank me. He's like, and he's kind of going through, so kind of talk about that. Like, Aaron E. Banks isn't E. Banks without his team, without his support, without his wife, without his kids motivating him to kind of push new levels of success. But at the end of the day, it is E. Banks. Like, the closest I could compare to it is like when you play basketball too. I always used to have my coach in high school used to say, hey, your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, they could all cheer you on and yell. But when you go to the free throw line, it's just you. It's you and you. Same thing for you. Everyone could support you, cheer for you. But when you step on stage, it's E. Banks. So kind of talk about that. Like, how important is it for you to stay consistent with you? Because you're the only one who could really measure your effort.
Yeah, and to be honest, it's never been about me for this sport, and it just goes back into when I first had my daughter. That's the main reason why I started, because again, I was a personal trainer, then I was begged to do this, and I'm like, you know what, let me just try this opportunity. And at that time, I was actually overweight. I was 268. Trying to figure out, was the fashion stylist thing was gonna happen, or it was the personal training was gonna happen. So found out I was having a daughter, and then from there I was like, man, I don't want to be that dad that can't just be like, oh, go play outside by yourself. Like, I've always wanted to be an active dad. So from there, I just literally changed my life, changed my eating habits, changed my mindset, and got back into the gym and started this whole bodybuilding career. And once I had my son, it was just like, oh, well, that's daddy's little boy. So as he's looking up to me, it's like, I want to be that role model for my son to kind of look up to. I don't want my son to look at another man and be like, oh, I want to be like him, So I really pride myself in that. So as far as me being E. Banks, and I never thought about myself just going into a prep, or I know I put the work in, but I know why I get up to do the work. You know what I mean? So it's never been about me. To be honest, I don't know if I didn't have kids, I don't know if I would have that urge or why to get up. So I think my kids literally changed my whole entire life and my mindset on. Cause I was a selfish athlete growing up, not necessarily just me, but like I wanted more, but as far as now, no, I don't kind of live for myself right now. I kind of do everything that I need to do for my kids. It's never been about me, especially coming into this bodybuilding world.
Yeah, no, and I've always personally felt that if you don't have something deeper than your why, then as soon as you hit something, some trials or tribulation, you just be like, yeah, that's cool. Like I'm gonna kick my feet up. So even for me, like my little sister doesn't know it, but like every time I'd get tired at Oregon State, she was the one that kind of looked up to me, and I was the on a pedestal. I could do no wrong, and I'd be under the weights lifting and be like, all right, I want to stop, and I'm like, dang, if my little sister was right here, watch me, like, yeah, it's like. And that's stuff that like you can't relate or put that on someone unless you actually have someone in your life that's that for you. So it's like
Right.
having that extra little push to be able to do things like that. And just for you two, just kind of talking. I mean, obviously you've left your mark and your legacy on the bodybuilding industry already. I mean, if you kicked your feet up and said I'm good, like you're forever etched in history there. And just if you were talking to like a high school athlete though, who's maybe kind of just like you were chasing the league, you were chasing kind of that professional level in sport. You ended up becoming a professional in a different arena. But if you're talking to an athlete in high school, I always try to like let them know that the worst kind of success is a little bit of success. And kind of what I mean by that, to kind of give it some context, is a lot of the times in the Central Valley or on your team, you might be the best one on your team right now. But I was so
Right.
thankful to my parents that they took me to Fresno and they took me to LA and they took me to big camps where I'm like, I'm
Whoa,
good,
this
but
is the
these
town.
this is different. Like these, like I'm good on my
Yeah.
team in my town, but it's like having that exposure therapy almost. So kind of talk to that athlete that, hey, having a little bit success is good, but that's not what you're truly after.
Yeah, absolutely. And it boils down to greed. You know what I mean? You just cannot be greedy. Again, you master your craft. You work at your craft every single day until you're blue. You know what I mean? And you you got to be a great teammate when it comes to the team sport aspect of things. Even if it's track and field, I mean, you have to be the best teammate, because again, your team's going to only back you. The team's going to want, and it just boils back down to like, okay, if I'm the quarterback and I'm a crappy, my mindset and my attitude is crappy. You think the O line wants to block for you, or that running back wants to block for you? You know what I mean? Or you probably won't even be playing. You'll probably be sitting the bench. You know what I mean? So just having the correct mindset going into anything that you do, and literally, man, a lot of these young athletes, I don't know if it is possible, or I know it's possible. I just think a lot of the younger athletes just need to lean on God, man. And follow the course, because without Him, I mean, you wouldn't exist. So you write the plan, you come up with your game plan, and you just got to put the actions forward. You got to put the
Yeah.
action forward. But don't be greedy.
Yeah, amen to that, bro. I mean, it's the biggest thing, just be able to lean on someone that when things aren't going your way, you be able to still have someone that you know is always in your corner. So, I mean, that's huge.
Right.
And yeah, no, the last couple questions I want to ask you, bro. I mean, again, I kind of talked about just you edging yourself in history in the bodybuilding industry already to this day, regardless of what you do in the future. We know winning's coming in your future again, a lot more winning still to come. But like, what do you hope people say about you 20 years from now?
He was the best father I've ever seen. That I don't care about anything. I don't care about the accolades. I don't care about nothing. Like, I just, when I post my kids, or when I'm with my kids, and I know my kids are happy. That what makes me warm inside, man. I don't. I mean, if it had to be anything outside of it, I mean, I would just probably say E Banks was a go getter. He went and got everything that he spoke into existence, But I also spoke into existence that I wanted to be the best father that I could be for my kids, and that's what I truly want the world and my legacy to be, and that's what I'm working for sure.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful. And again, it's cool. It is cool to see you. I feel like I've been following you for a little bit now. And when you post your kids, you could tell it's actually like it's so genuine. Like you're authentically so happy to be around your kid. And I don't even know how you exuberate that through the screen. It's just a phone, but I'm like, dang, this dude looks happy, bro. Like I'm checking myself. I'm like, man, I need to be present with the kids and the boys that I'm here. And it's like, I think it's really cool that you share that side of your life, and that obviously it is about winning and pushing, but I mean, there's certain times for that, to have that mindset, to have that grind, but you
It's
do
a
have
time
to
where
kind
you
of,
lock in and it's serious, but it's also the time where you got to get to these babies. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't. It's like it goes back to what I said earlier. Like I wouldn't want my kid to look up to another man, but I also wouldn't want another man to raise my kids. You know what I mean? In any aspect. Like I want my kids to always lean on me. So if I pour into them and pour love into them, they're gonna come to me for advice or whatever the case may be down the road when they get older.
yeah. No, and kind of the final question I want to ask you too. I'm interested to see kind of what your take is on. I feel like I've studied. I took a course in my master's program at Fresno State, where all we did was study the most successful people in the world. So like Bill Gates, Oprah Winfrey, Kobe Bryant, all these different people, right? And I feel like one thing that was common in a lot of their interviews that they talked about is there's so many people who kind of had that alter ego in a sense. And I think I don't want to say that's what I was missing when I played, because I was so leaning on that be humble side of things. I feel like
Yeah.
that's something I really want to teach and instill into my kids. Like, hey, Marcus McMarion's respectful. He talks very nice to people, is really respectful. But when he steps on the field, he's XYZ. Because you kind of had Kobe, right? Kobe had
Yeah.
Mamba mentality. You have
Yep.
Dion's prime time. I have one of my
Yep.
boys, Josh Hoket's in the UFC now. He has incredible Hulk, and he's like kind of turns into a character when he goes into the ring. So do you feel like you have that? I mean, you have government Erin Banks, and then you got E Banks when you
Yeah.
step onto the
Yeah,
stage.
those are two different people.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are two different people, man. E Banks is he's a dog, and he's out to get everything that he wants to get and make done, And I mean, yeah, he has a little bit of spice on that side, but when it's Aaron Banks, it's more daddy mode and kind of relaxing and chill, but. You have to have that alter ego. I tell people all the time, because again, when you get on stage and presenting your physique to these judges is literally, I think, about 50% of the judging. And if you work so hard for 18 weeks and got on stage and presented like crap, that I just, that's a waste of time. But a lot of these people don't have that alter ego to where they can just let themselves be free and not be nervous and all these other things that go into it. So if you have that alter ego, you're gonna present with confidence. That those things both go together. The confidence and that alter ego goes together. So a lot of people ask me all the time, man, how do you get on stage and just you don't shake, you're not nervous, you like. No, I work too hard to get on stage and not present myself. I work too hard.
Bottom line, yeah.
It's just there's no other way around it. But the alter ego thing, man, is I think it's a must in every aspect of your life. And if it's the bodybuilding industry, if it's the fitness, I mean, it could be NFL, MLB, whatever you're in. If you're just a regular worker, I mean, you still got to kind of have like the alter ego at work and then at home. Like you gotta put on a different face when you're in front of big people like that.
Yeah, no, and I feel like I've started to adopt it. I feel like I didn't have it a ton when I played, but 100% in the business world now. I feel like I've stepped into meetings with guys who have net worths of 50, $100 million, and I'll talk like I'm equal with them, knowing damn
Hey,
near I'm nowhere near where they're at right now. But it's like I
absolutely.
walk out of the meeting and I'm like, man, I crushed that. Like, who was that dude? But it's like being able to have that confidence in yourself, even though it's just knowing that, hey, I do belong here. I do belong in this circle. I do belong in this group of people. And yeah, no, bro. I mean, just in closing, I mean, this was awesome. I mean, this is definitely a conversation that people are going to have to look back, rewind, listen to again. And I think it was cool for you to show just a different side of to where I think people get a little snippets of
Yeah.
e-banks online, but
Yep.
they don't see like, hey, he's a father first and he's pushing for his kids, and not your typical
At
8-year
all.
old where he's like, I'm gonna be a bodybuilder, and you start like that long, So I think it's awesome to see
Yeah.
how your story's kind of just evolved and shaped, and it's gonna inspire kids. But just I always like to kind of end the questioning with like, for whatever reason, if I forgot to hit record and this entire thing got erased, and they only had this last minute or two to kind of hear you speak, I mean, like, what would be your message to like youth athletes or just youth in general, as far as just them pursuing goals and being consistent with who they are?
Just the main thing is, like you said, that last word is consistent. But one, you, like you said, with the dreams, you got to wake up and have dreams, but those dreams are not going to put themselves to work. You got to make sure you put the actions in every day you wake up. If you got your goal sheet, your whiteboard, you need to write actions next to those goals, not just, oh, I want to be this, or I want to do this, I want to get this done. No, what are the actions that I'm going to do to get everything done? And then how am I going to prove myself for myself to make sure these get done? And also just having the discipline to kind of wake up and don't be one of those kids don't be a lazy kid, you know what I mean? And we get a lot of that now with this social media. I want to be on the phone, or I want to be in front of the video games. Man, I grew up, we grew up going outside. We didn't come outside, we didn't come back inside until those lights came on, so be present in reality, and kind of put the phones down. And I understand it's a whole content creator influencer world now, but there's still times where you can just go outside and just go grab a coffee with some friends, go network with people, go just don't be a hermit, you know what I mean? And the thing is a lot of people get into golf to go network. That's a huge thing. And right now I just picked up paddle. It's also a whole networking world, and it's a little bit more fast paced, but you have to do things out of your norm. And what I would say is you have to learn to love to be uncomfortable. You need to be in situations that don't make you comfortable, because if you're comfortable, you're content, you're never going to grow. So as far as being an athlete, you always want to be on that chopping block to where I need to be growing every single year, or every day, or every week, or every month, and pushing yourself forward, and just always lean on believing in yourself, because I know we all get the self-doubt. We all go through it. It's not like, oh, Erin Banks doesn't have any self-doubt. No, there's some days where it's a little darker than others, but it's how do I pull myself up? And I always figure out, okay, what's my why, or what's my purpose, and kind of lean back on that, and also lean on the man above to kind of push me through some of those obstacles. So, I think I'll leave them with that.
That's the podcast, man. You listen to the last 2 minutes, just re-listen to it for the rest of the year. You'll be all right. I'm telling you. Just listen to the last 2 minutes. That was money, brother. I appreciate you, and I'm excited for, our friendship to keep growing. I'm excited to keep supporting you and all the stuff you do, and be out there, and maybe we'll get some traveling done together soon sometime.
Oh, absolutely. Let me know. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, no doubt, brother. Well, appreciate you, and you guys, make sure you guys take those lessons, everything he's talked about, and everything we talked about early on too. Just a line assigned to side kind of framework, and just consistency and everything he's talked about, and keep dreaming. Chase yourself. I'm really glad you talked about vision boards, especially it being so early on the year. Be comfortable being uncomfortable, putting stuff on the board that probably has no business being on that board, and I think you'll be surprised what happens. So, E. Banks, brother, I appreciate you. And until next time, guys, appreciate you guys listening to Athlete Country Club. Peace.